This is the Xbox Series X 4 years later. So we do this every single year. I do a bit of a recap going over what happened with the Series X since the last year. Be sure to like the videos. Subscribing is great as well. You get to see the passage of time as I get older. This is when I unboxed the Series X back in the day, and yeah, definitely should have had drier hair, but you get to unbox things when you have time and availability to be able to unbox them. So as you can tell, I've gotten a lot older. 4 years has gone by, and here we are talking about the Series X in what is definitely the latter half of the generation, particularly since a newer console is probably on the horizon in the near future, so that should be exciting as well. Hopefully, we'll cover that. As the trajectory was last year, things have continued to get worse for Xbox, and yeah, it just keeps getting worse. Last year was like whoo, and this year's like whoo, like yeah, it's off a cliff for this platform. Sales are dwindling, people are bailing. The Xbox PR press circuit is just like every few months they're there trying to burn the Xbox community and absolutely just destroy it. Uh, yeah, there's just not much left of the platform these days, but hey, we're festive. I got the cap on, the Santa hat, and we're having a great time. So, yeah, kind of an interesting year. It basically got started off with a little bit of re-momentum. There was the Activision Blizzard deal getting completed. That really well, we finally got stuff in the summer. We got Modern Warfare 3 2 on Game Pass, and Black Ops 6 landed on Game Pass, which was great. We did get a couple titles like Spyro and I think what Crash is not much, barely anything out of that deal so far. Definitely not what I expected. No legacy CODs, barely anything at all, actually. Well, there was Diablo 4 early on in the year, I guess, added to Game Pass. That was pretty good, but I was expecting a lot more considering how much we got out of the Bethesda deal so fast for Game Pass. But yeah, that was kind of a big momentum builder, and then Xbox obviously kind of moving towards being a third party, giving up exclusives. The first four early on in the year, and then I'm sure at this point more will be coming in the not too distant future. So they kind of gave up on exclusivity, which further hurt their sales throughout the year. And yeah, the sales have absolutely plummeted. People aren't buying a Series X. I wouldn't really recommend one at this point, but it's a great console. It's just a shame that so many factors are working against it. The Series S, that causing issues on top of a dwindling player base and lots of other dev issues. We missed out on a few more exclusives this year, just like we did the previous year. Some not even due to like actually paid exclusivity, just technical problems, and that's a bit of a shame for sure. And yeah, it's still it's still a great console, runs well. We've had a couple situations where the thing kind of wasn't working early on in the year, and then it kind of worked by like messing around with the expansion storage in the back of it, which was kind of funny, a little hilarious that fixed it. Yeah, but other than that, it's been running pretty good. I've had controller disconnect issues that kind of started last year too, and it seems to have continued this year, and a bit strange. Still rocking the great Hex Gaming controller. Love it. Definitely fantastic. They're great for their controllers, which I always appreciate. There it is. I was so hopeful back then. I really thought Xbox could like kind of pull it together and do something great with their platform. Oh boy, 4 years. Honestly, again, just the passing of time, it being 4 years already since this thing's been out. It's insane. Yeah, I can't believe it. Like, feels just like yesterday because I had the Series X, I had a launch to review and stuff, and it was great. I was very happy with it. I got a lot of videos ready. It was a great time. At this point, almost around doing this, I've kind of moved on to doing the PlayStation 5 Pro, which is the new console, and that's fun and a little bit more exciting to cover something new that's got, better tech. Like, I think FSR is becoming more and more of a problem for Xbox, and I'm hoping they kind of get a scaling solution out the door. Cloud gaming is growing on Xbox. We can finally, after years of being promised to do so, play some of the games we own on it. through the cloud gaming on other things other than Xbox. And then they had their big Xbox. This is an Xbox campaign or something, and it just confuses consumers a lot. I don't know. It's kind of a. I think it was a really out of touch marketing decision, but I'm sure it follows their idea of everything's an Xbox, but they don't care about their hardware at all. So why would anyone else, right? Yeah, that's the thing there. Why would anyone else? Which is such a shame for sure. Yeah, it's weird to see how such a good piece of hardware has really just been let down by kind of a lack of big games that kind of showcase it off, and then like a lack of good marketing and support and push. And it is the really beautiful piece of hardware. Honestly, it's a great console. I just wish everything else around it made it do what it could have done or reach its full potential. It's just a complete shame what's happened here over this generation. Absolute shame. Entirely the whole way through. We're still. What do we get this year? Well, we'll talk about all the games in a sec. We'll go through everything that came out this year, but like, still nothing really groundbreaking visually. Hellblade 2 was pretty phenomenal, but it was 30 FPS. Flight Sim, that came out in a really bad state. Stalker 2, really bad performance, lots of technical bugs. You're probably seeing this video after Indiana Jones is released, but I'm filming this beforehand, so hopefully it turned out good. Fingers crossed, am I right? Yeah, other than that, kind of a pretty weak year for exclusives, which is not surprising, because the whole generation Xbox has really been lagging behind on that. There's always next year, right? I've been saying that for a decade and a bit now for Xbox. There's always next year. No new peripherals or anything though, really. Kind of just coasting off on stuff. Yeah, kind of not much to talk about. Like the whole year was basically just Xbox, like literally, you know, stepping on rakes every left turn, every right turn, just literally making it worse and worse and worse every other month. Phil Spencer would say something that would make it worse for the platform, and yeah, just an abysmal year for Xbox. Probably the worst they've had since the Xbox One launch, if not maybe even more damaging, I would say. So, if we do this again next year, I'm really eager to see what the state of the platform is, because I legitimately cannot see another year that could be possibly worse than the death of Xbox arc. We've had to do many months this year. Yeah, this is not looking good. I have incredibly low outlook on the future of Xbox. Like, it is dim. It is dark. It is abysmal. You can compare me in this video to how I was 4 years ago or 3 years ago doing the 1 year, then the second year, then the 3 years later, and now it's 4 years later. Oh, wow. Just seeing the decline in like attitude towards the console. Oh, and then my relationship with Xbox is, I don't even know anymore. I actually, I don't know if we got a new PR team at this point, so still to be determined, I guess. I don't know. They just keep sending me like PC games, not even Xbox games. I actually got more codes and more games to cover on PlayStation from Xbox than from Xbox on Xbox for games to cover. How? Anyways, let's switch over to talking about the games, I guess, that popped up this year. So I'm just gonna close me enjoying the magic of the controller. I love that Xbox Christmas jumper sweater. It's fantastic. Alright, bam, here we go. So these are the games by acquired. So I added about 1,200 games, I think, roughly this year to my collection. Obviously, again, Indiana Jones not quite out yet. So we're going to kind of talk about the highlights and talk about the state of things. So for optimized games, genre, accessibility, console types. Let's take a look at where we are for optimized. So we're now at about 2,000 optimized games. So that's a good growth. Most stuff coming out nowadays has the XS optimized mark, which shockingly, there are so many people out there that I still get comments about that don't know what Series XS optimized means. They're like, this game isn't optimized, and it's like, oh, it's just a tag that means it runs on the Series XS. It was developed for that platform. It doesn't mean the game runs well. Like, why would you ever put optimize in the title of a video? Except for it being tagged that it's an optimized game. This is mind-numbing. Absolutely mind-numbing. Anyways, we're at 2000 and, enhanced or whatever, or optimized games. Xbox One X enhanced. PlayStation actually stole that for the PS5 Pro enhanced, which is funny. Yeah. So there we go. So I've added about 1,200 games. So this one doesn't count because that's a Game Pass. But I kind of like, this is what we do each year, is I go through these games, I talk about the highlights and, everything that kind of came out. A Flight Sim, what a mess that launch was. I mean, they had, like, the perfect Flight Sim in 2020, and then, like, they went all cloud on it, and, just to show us, like, the cloud is not ready at all. What a mess that game is. I hope they fix it over updates and stuff, but what a mess. Shame on the Microsoft and Asobo for releasing the game in that condition. Absolute shame. Stalker 2 came out really buggy. I got lots of views off of it, which was great, but yeah, very, very buggy. Genshin Impact we finally got on Xbox, I think about 4 years after it was on like PlayStation, stuff like that. So we finally got Genshin. That's great. Let's see what else we got here. There's a lot of games. I get the ID at Xbox list every week, which is very important for me covering the games. I think if that list stops getting sent to me, I'll pretty much just be done with Xbox. Honestly, it'll be too hard to cover these games. The Grand Theft Autos, they finally got fixed, so that's why I picked those up. What else we got popping up here? There's a couple really good remakes from like Square this year, like Dragon Quest and stuff. Those all turned out pretty good. Death Stranding, yeah, we got that. That was a big surprise on Xbox. That did really well for me on the channel. I was very, very happy about Death Stranding on the channel. That one did really, really good. Not really streamable because the music copyright. Oh, Vampire Hunters is awesome. It's like Vampire Survivors, but it's like a first-person shooter. It's really, really neat. Failguard was quite a bit of a disappointment. Life is Strange Double Exposure was a fair bit of a disappointment, but it was so nice to see Max come back. But that game runs really badly for some silly reason. But it was so nice to have that character return. Phasmophobia was really fun. That's in game preview. Empire of the Ants was hilariously entertaining. We finally got a current gen version of DC Universe Online. We never got to stream that. It would have been fun, but it didn't quite slide in. Squirrel with a Gun was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious, that game. Just a squirrel with a big gun. It's so funny. Starship Troopers did super well on the channel. That game was a ton of fun. I loved playing Starship Troopers there. That was really, really good. Really, really good. Predator came to the Xbox console, and they like relaunched it, so that's kind of giving me hope, hopefully, for Friday the 13th to get something like that. What else do we got? Usual sports games every year. Dead Rising remastered, that was kind of cool. It was nice to see that one come back. That was a fun play. What else do we get here? Frank Stone, that's one of those Telltale-like kind of, narrative light interaction games based on the Dead by Daylight universe. Oh, Space Marine was awesome. Oh, that game was great. That was like a 360 era game in the modern era. Oh, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I really, really liked that game. Star Wars Outlaws, where I flew to Ubisoft Toronto to go and film an interview for it, and then like I got bumped, so I didn't get to film that, and obviously we covered that game. It's kind of going through the motions. Age of Mythology Retold, yeah, that was from Xbox. That was cool. That was obviously a remake of a classic real-time strategy spin-off of Age of Empires. Big fan of that one. What else do we have? Madden. What else is there? I did a lot of like sponsored Madden posting things. I made more off of that than the videos I did this year on it. Kenna finally came to Xbox. That was a nice surprise. Kenna Souls. What else we got here? A bunch of like indie things. Oh, 7 Days to Die got a relaunch. That turned out pretty good. That was neat. Nobody Wants to Die was kind of cool looking. I covered the betas for like Throne and Liberty and New World Aeternum, and like Amazon just totally like shafted me on codes for launch on those ones. Really big disappointment. Finally got a Lifeless Planet sequel. That was kind of neat. Never really had time to really dive into it. The First Descendant was kind of hot. That came in pretty jiggly and stuff, and yeah, that one did pretty well and stuff for fun. Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary was kind of cool. Still Wakes the Deep was neat. That was a Game Pass launch title. We're on like a shipwreck thing. That was kind of cool. What else was there? Some of these games, you know, they're older ones I pick up. Oh yeah, this like Toy Soldiers kind of thing, Hypercharge. That was fun. It's neat to do this because it's like a revisit. Iron Harvest, I had a code for this thing there for like 2 years. I just discovered it. I was like, what? And yeah, I did a video on that one finally. Killer Clowns, that kind of came and went. I really liked The Glass Staircase. That was a throwback horror game. That was kind of neat. Same with Eternal Threads. I wish I had time for that one. That one was kind of like you're in a house and you're trying to figure out what happened. And Duck Detective. They have like a plushie for Duck Detective. I just didn't think a video for it would be super hot, and there's other stuff I was working on. System Shock remake finally came out. Phantom Fury was a huge disappointment. Ran terribly. Oh, Hellblade. I really liked Hellblade. That was a beautiful looking game. I do wish it was a higher frame rate on Xbox, but that was a really, really beautiful game. That was one of my favorite experiences this year. That, and I actually really loved Indica. I played through that whole little like indie game. We did an interview there too. That was a lot of fun. Indica was really, really good. So was Crow Country. Yeah, Crow Country was kind of neat. That's an old school Resident Evil-like game. And Little Kitty Big City. You're like a cat roaming around. Yeah, that was enjoyable. See, I like these. It's a nice little reflection on like what happened. Oh, and yeah, I got enough Xbox points or whatever, and then I was able to buy these games with like a gift card or whatever with the points I had. So I got to check out Deadly Premonition and Unreal Tournament 3. They're kind of fun games. And Dying Light 2, I finally got a code from the devs. I went directly to them for that one. That was kind of nice. Coda. What else there? Deceit 2. That was kind of like Among Us, but 3D. That one was okay. I actually got all the achievements on that one. I grinded that right out, which was kind of cool. What else was there? I think we're almost at the... Oh yeah, Battlefront came out, was a mess. Oh, that was a big disappointment. Dragon's Dogma, love that game. I actually liked Alone in the Dark, but, you know, it had some issues, but kind of a shame that one didn't, you know, do well enough to continue it. But Dragon's Dogma 2, I really love that game. Really, really good. Lots of fun. WWE we got. The Stalkers were massive for me, these old Stalker games. They did so well. Stalker on the channel this year kind of carried a lot of my months. Oh, Dark Forces was freaking awesome. Yeah, the remastering or whatever that one, that was really fun. I had a great time doing that. Outlast Trials, that one's pretty messed up. Really messed up. What else was there? Oh yeah, we finally got Final Fantasy XIV Online. That finally came to Xbox this year too, after like a decade of being exclusive to PlayStation. Oh yeah, that was a while ago. Oh, Banishers. I like that one. I also had some issues with like difficulty stuff on that one, but that's a Don't Nod game. Skull and Bones was a huge bomb. The Tomb Raider remasters, those were a lot of fun. The Inquisitor was hilarious, where you're like Jesus' Witcher. That was kind of entertaining. Terrible, kind of, well, not a good game, but entertaining. Pal World was a lot of fun to kick off the year. Was that this year too? I kind of missed out on that one, I think, didn't I? I don't know. Pal World really kickstarted the year well. And I think we're basically at the end of last year to the beginning of this year. Oh, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Great Metroidvania-like game. That one's completely overlooked this year, but it was really good. Really, really good. And then, yeah, I think we're basically at the end of... or the start of the year. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else big yet. Baldur's Gate would have been the previous year. Yeah, okay. So not bad in terms of games. Again, about 1,200 added. So that's a lot of gaming for me. I did a lot of videos, as you could probably tell on the channel. And little bit less Xbox stuff recently, but I'm sure we'll slide some things in as stuff is worth checking out. And I have a lot of videos I have like just sitting there that I haven't like deployed, and who knows where those will pop up, if they will, or they'll vanish. Anyways, let's switch over and let's just do kind of ending thoughts. So Xbox Series X 4 years later, console's still running well. Uh, I'd like to say that the games are getting better and better for tech, but that really hasn't been seen. FSR still makes them look incredibly fuzzy. Kind of a bit of an underwhelming generation of gaming overall, I would say. Yeah, I'm noticing a larger gap too after playing on the PS5 Pro and seeing the pisser technology. It's really showing me the shortfalls of Xbox not having a resolution scaling tech. I think that's a major problem for the platform that they're going to have to work on if they want to kind of get some better looking visuals. But yeah, I had some good memories, good moments, had some fun, lots of streams, interacted with lots of you over the last year, so I hope that was enjoyable. But like, from an Xbox perspective, I really don't see how it could get much worse. I think they're on like borrowed time for the platform. Apparently, again, they're gonna like dip on this generation a little early and do a new gen console sooner than later. Oh, Suicide Squad was terrible. Totally forgot about that. But like, yeah, I really don't know where they're going or what's gonna happen with the platform. But this was by far, I think, maybe the worst year Xbox has ever had, and the game delivery was just abysmal. Like I said, I played more games from Xbox on PlayStation than I played on Xbox from Xbox, and that is a monumental failure in my opinion. They're basically outputting PlayStation's first party on PlayStation's console. I don't see how this console recovers. I don't see how it gets better. I mean, we'll have to wait and see if it delivers some great experiences in the next year, but to me, it's a great bailing point. Probably even the previous year should have been too, I guess, but and it sucks because it's like it's a good piece of hardware. We're getting there's like a lot of games out there. Like clearly, if I added so many games, there's lots out there to play and enjoy. It's just it doesn't really deliver on those big exclusives that they promised at the start of the gen, and I don't think they ever will because it's Xbox. They just don't ever deliver. That's just kind of their brand is delays, and when the games do come out they don't run very good, or they have bad performance problems, or they don't look good, or they're buggy, and it's just a shame. I'd like to be more optimistic for you, but all I see is a continued decline, and I don't think it's ever gonna get any better. I mean, I'd love to come here in a year from now and be like, Series X turned it around, guys, it's great, but yeah, it's looking pretty doomsday at this point, and I have no idea how they could fix things or make things better. It's just like when you look at the competition having like all the Xbox games and the PlayStation games, or like all the Xbox games and all the Nintendo games. It's like, what is the point of having the Series X? Like, what do you do on it? What do you get out of it? Nothing really, nothing special. And I know some people are like, oh, exclusives shouldn't be a thing. And it's like, okay, well, you live in a fantasy world because exclusives totally matter. Sorry. But, yeah, sorry if it's such a bummer for you, but yeah, it's been pretty bad at, like, just covering this console, too, over the last couple of years. It's just gotten abysmal, and it's not getting better. I'm still waiting for, like, a generational defining game. Like, Hellblade 2 is, like, really, really good looking, but feels like a lot of people just completely forgot about it almost, and then these other games came out and didn't really leave shockwaves of excitement. But it kind of feels like Xbox were just kind of getting late games and stuff that other platforms have already enjoyed for years, and it's like, and then you're just giving away anything that makes the Xbox special to other platforms. That's not going to grow the user base, and then Game Pass is still kicking, and that still looks fine, and hopefully we someday get our classic Call of Duty games, but that still hasn't happened. I just wish there was more to be optimistic about for the Xbox Series X. It's a good console that certainly deserves a lot better, and yeah, it's a real shame how it's been treated, and the fact that it just doesn't look very good in regards to making a comeback, as to say, but I'm sure I'll still cover some games on it. I'm sure this will still be a great place to find a back catalog of Series X games. I've covered thousands of them, so I don't think other people have really done it to that extent. So I hope you enjoyed this chat, and I'm sure we'll be back for Year 5 next year. Holy. And hopefully things get better, but I really don't think that will be the case. But I'd love to be surprised. So again, liking the video is great, subscribing is great as well. I'd love to hear about your experience with the Series X over this year, and the games you played, the things you experienced, and how you thought about the platform overall, because it was quite a ride, and it's always a fun surprise covering Xbox.